John Baptist Simoneau down in P14, still finding his feet a little bit in this class, but doing very well. Richard Wagner having a better weekend than of late as he qualifies on P17. Sandro Kaibach back in his original car, having commandeered the Leon Kohler car after that incident in Zandvoort, which saw Kaibach rolling his Porsche 911 and Kohler having to hand his car over to his teammates as punishment. There you can see the remaining part of the grid. Alex Arkanaka had a bit of a spin this morning in practice as Jean Gitonchev. And these are guys that are in the amateur category as well. Leon Kohler, who's in number 30 on the grid. As we can see, the two pink BWT Lechner Porsche 911s working hard to get heat into the tyres, get heat into the brakes. A critical formation lap, not just about driving around in circles, but a very critical lap as the cars come round onto the pit straight, ready to grid up for the start of this race. So after today, only 3 more races left, but still lots to play for. 25 points for a win, and Julien Andlauer has a 23.5 point advantage over teammate Michael Ammermüller. Larry Tenvorder still by no means out of it. So everything to play for as we get into the closing stages of this season. So the track falls quiet as the remaining cars grid up in the sunshine here. 26.6 degrees is the temperature at the moment, and it's a glorious day to go racing. Track a little bit slippery in a few places, especially 16 and 17, which share tarmac with the drag strip, and that's very, very slippery there. We've seen that catch a few people out already today. Good overtaking opportunities along the parabolica up towards the hairpin of turn 6, but all eyes now on those red lights, and when they go out, we're ready to go racing, and we are off. And the number 1 car of Michael Ammermüller steps off pole position. Julien Andlauer and Dylan Pereira slotting in, making it a Lechner Racing 1-2-3, a scene that we have become very familiar with in the second part of this season. The cars fanning out as they head into this car onto the dirt. There's somebody who's gone off there at the back. Don't know who that is. We can see a lot of smoke. That's not Jackson Evans, is it? No, it's not. It's the number 12 car. It is the number 12 car. That's Jorn Schmidt-Stade, who's guesting here this weekend. And I was going to talk about him. Really haven't had an opportunity yet, have I? Standing in for Louis Henkefen for Team Allied Racing. And at the front, the cars are still continuing. Doesn't look like we're going to get a safety car. Thought we might, but you can see them filing around. And yes, we have got a safety car. So safety car is deployed. Wondered if that might happen. So we can see here, look to the top of the screens. Hopefully we can see what happened. And it just looks like too many cars into too small a space, I think. And the number 12 car, you see broken steering, the car just out of control, bounces in to the fence. So yes, Jorn Schmidt-Stade is standing in for Louis Henkefen, who's having a weekend off. Hopefully you're going to see Louis back again at Sachsenring in a couple of weeks' time. But the Team Allied Racing car being driven by the reigning AM champion. And he's had a very short afternoon, which is a real shame. Done very well in qualifying, and although not at the very front of the grid, still made a good account of himself, and just a shame hasn't made it around the first set of corners. So safety car is out to retrieve that car, and our leader, number 1, is in first position, number 2 is in second position, and number 3 is in third position. So that's Ammermüller from Andlauer and Pereira. Jaap van Lagen did very well. He's up in the P4, and Larry Tenvorder P5. Jackson Evans, who really is very dialed in this weekend, up to P5. So Jackson Evans is our lead rookie, and really turning a few heads here. He has been excellent in qualifying. Really, really entertaining, and put in a stonking lap, and went quickest of all, and that will give him pole position tomorrow, which we're very much looking forward to seeing, and has certainly spoilt the Lechner Racing lockout that we have come to expect in recent times. So, safety car is out, and the car's working hard to keep heat into those tyres, whilst the stricken car is cleared away, and we will be going racing again very, very shortly. So you can see them filing through. So in all of that, Jackson Evans is our leading rookie, and he's in P6, and you have to go all the way back to P14 to find the Berke Besler car, who's the next in the rookies. And Carlos Rivas, he's been having a good weekend in qualifying. He was very, very quick, and he's currently P24, but he's our leading amateur driver. So a number of championships to be decided over these next couple of weeks, and Jackson Evans really has taken the rookie championship by the scruff of the neck, and it would be a brave man who bets against him, currently with 207 points in the rookie championship. Next up is Berke Besler with 159 points. And in the amateur championship, Stefan Rakoff with 217.5 points. Carlos Rivas with 189 points in second. So a number of these championships still going. BWT Lechner in the team championship, well ahead, 372 points, with Overdrive Racing by Huber second with 264. So barring any major disasters, I think BWT Lechner are looking pretty good for the team championship. But it's still a lot of laps still to be turned in the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany, as we have this race here, then the next one tomorrow, and then on to Sachsenring in a couple of weeks' time, where proceedings come to a close. And where has this season gone? Good heavens, next stop, Christmas. Sorry, didn't mean to mention the C word there. Won't happen again. Safety car is out. Getting dirty looks here. And the number 12 car, very unceremoniously been taken off the track. Such a shame. We were really looking forward to seeing Jorn Schmidt start up and to see how he did. And qualified in P25, which is not disgraceful by any standards, but sadly hasn't made it past the first couple of corners. Here comes the safety car again. What has become a very familiar sight of the three Lechner Racing cars, the two pink and the one blue one of Dylan Pereira. And Jaap van Lagen, who has really upped the ante this year and has finished the last three races in the top six. P2 still being his best result of the year so far, and he's had two of those. And then comes Larry Tenforder, and I know Larry is scratching his head as to what he has to do to get back to the form he had at the beginning of this year. If you remember the first 5 races of the year, he won 4 of them and he got a second in the other. Then he got a P4, and then apart from a couple of other P4s, the rest of the year has been a bit of a struggle. So he's in that familiar P4 now, and would dearly love to get in front of those Lechner cars. You can see the cars just coming to a stop as they work their way around the recovery process that's going on, and very, very shortly we should be ready to get going again. 16 laps around this 4.574 kilometre Hockenheimring, A wonderful track. Such a privilege to be here and on such a glorious day as well. And these cars looking spectacular around here. I stood out on turns 2 and 3 yesterday afternoon, and they were flipping up onto 2 wheels as they were going round the corners. So spectacular to watch. And the roar of them as they come past, all 30 of them, make that 29 now that we've lost one, but still spectacular. And if you've never witnessed a Porsche Carrera Cup race firsthand, I would strongly recommend you do it, because it really is something to behold when this lot come tearing down the pit straight at full chat. You can see from Mikael Ammermüller just trying to keep the heat in the tyres, because as the sun starts to go down over the Hockenheimring, temperatures drop quite quickly. And we've already dropped a couple of degrees in the last hour of this late season race. So, safety car's going to be in this lap. The cars currently are going to be coming round the final section of corners. The safety car disappears off into the pit lane, into turn 16 and turn 17. Mikael Ammermüller leads them away. And the green flag is out. We are racing again. It's a Lechner 1, 2, 3. How long will it stay like that? Ammermüller in the lead. Andlauer second. Pereira third. Then comes Jaap van Lagen and Larry ten Voorde. Further back, a lot more scrabbling for places. There's a bit of a gap there. But you can see lots of challenging for places further back. A number of championships, the Rookie Championship, the AM Championship, all to be settled over these next couple of weekends. And a big dent in the 94 car. That's Janis Fischer. And he's obviously been in the wars there. Maybe that was something to do with the earlier stoppage. But along they come, down the parabolica and into the hairpin, under braking, and you can see somebody locking up a very tricky corner and a great spot for overtaking. You see the cars have broken into 2 fairly distinct groups now. The second group being led by the 22 car of Nicolas Skoll, but we're looking on board from Dylan Pereira, and we can see a challenge as he looks to the inside of Julien Andlauer. And, oh, don't make contact. We had that at Norrisring earlier on in the year, and that all ended in tears, didn't it? So, Andlauer, very keen to get past Ammermüller, and although these guys are all racing for the same team, oh, you see, Andlauer did very well not to actually get turned around then. He held on to that. And we saw that happen at Norrisring earlier on in the season, with the Lechner cars taking each other out. And one would like to think that wouldn't happen again. So, Skoog and Veliko comes through. There's Joey Mawson doing a bit of drifting. Now that is the drag strip, and you can see how shiny it is. There's rubber on that. I went and stood there yesterday evening, and it was like ice. Trying to walk on it, it was so slippery. And as we look at the Janis Fischer car just being retrieved there, the drag strip is kind of shares parts of turns 16 and 17, and it is so slippery down there. And we've seen it catch out so many cars already in various events over this year at the Hockenheimring. So the race continues. Doesn't look like we need a safety car to retrieve the stricken vehicle that's out there. We're looking back at the Sandro Kaibach car. And that's Alex Arkinaka at the front of that queue. And that's who we were looking back from, with Matthias Jeserik just behind. There's a car going wide there into the shade of the grandstand. And the 88 of Rhys Barr from Donegal, currently in P18. And Stefan Raykop, smoke coming from the car. Did that look like damage to the steering? Stefan Raykop, Huber Racing. Yes, it is. So we saw contact with him a little bit earlier. Looks like the steering is broken. And Stefan Rakoff really, really in trouble. His afternoon is certainly over. Needs to park that up before it becomes stranded and causes another safety car. So trying to get it back to the pits, I've no doubt. But you can see the steering severely damaged on that number 33 Huber Racing car, and the tyre now completely off the rim. And just desperately trying to get it back to the pit area. He would probably do well to park that up. But it looks like he's made it round turn 16 and into the pit lane. So, safety car not needed. This is our lead battle. Julien Andlauer looking closer than ever at Mikael Ammermüller. Dylan Pereira ducks to the outside. All three cars together don't take each other out. We know this happened once before. Look at them, all three of them together. It's anybody's guess who's going to come out in front of this. It's still Ammermüller at the moment, but Andlauer looking very, very racy. Dylan Pereira, though, trying to make his move onto the inside, makes it to P2. Meanwhile, Larry ten Voorde has found a way past Jaap van Lagen, so Larry ten Voorde still got lots to do. How good is this? Exciting racing. And the safety car is out, so we've got the safety car deployed. And the number 17 car of Lucas Oertel, I think, is... No, that's in the pits. No, it is. It's there. Lucas Oertel stranded. So, safety car again, just as it was getting interesting. How frustrating. So, Lucas Oertel parked up in the gravel trap. Needs to be retrieved. Safety car is out. But what a battle for the lead. I should think that Walter Lechner of Lechner Racing is probably hiding behind a pillow, I should think, as this race goes on. Dread to think how this is going to shake out. Great for us watching, though. So, what happened? Dylan Pereira here, we're looking. He went to the outside of the number 2 car of Julien Andlauer. They were, meanwhile, fighting. And you could see Mikael Ammermüller really takes Julien Andlauer wide there. Larry ten Voorde behind. Didn't see him get past Jaap van Lagen. But getting Larry up into this lead battle as well can only be good, because this time it's personal. You see Andlauer looking to the inside. Wonderful, wonderful racing from these 4 leading cars, with Jaap van Lagen just poised and ready to jump if he gets the opportunity as well. And quite excited for this one to get going, I have to say, because I want to see more of this. So this is what it looked like from Larry ten Voorde. And he must have thought he was about to jump into the lead, to be quite honest. So good to see Larry back up at the sharp end of the grid. And seemingly the only driver who can take it to the Lechner Racing crew at this point in proceedings anyway. So, safety car out to retrieve the Lucas Oertel car. And you can see the 3 Lechner cars, 2 2 pink and 1 blue. 2 plink and 1 boo. There's the view from Julien Andlauer. And great battling. And although they race for the same team, there's certainly nothing given when it comes to wins and getting on the podium. Good to see Jackson Evans in P6. He has really impressed. And we see Stefan Rakoff. So that's on board with Rakoff earlier on. We can see him going slowly, and if you recall, he had that damaged steering. There it is. We see what happened there. So that was just contact. So easily done. The driver's door open. Don't know if he's getting ready to make a quick escape or whether he's just trying to get some of the smoke out of the car that's pouring in from the wheel arch, which is what I expect it is. That's quite a skill, driving one-handed and with the door open as well. So, notification the safety car is in this lap. So very, very shortly we're going to be going racing. You can see them up by the hairpin on turn 6. The Lucas Oertel car has been retrieved and in fact is back out on track and coming around to join the back of the pack. So Lucas Oertel's just come tearing down the pit straight, looking to join the back of the snake as soon as possible. Safety car is in on this lap, and the cars come round turns 12 and 13. And once they get round into the final corners, Mikael Ammermüller will dictate the pace. He will decide when to go, and he will do everything he can to try and trick Dylan Pereira into thinking he's not going. So he nails the throttle. Pereira's anticipated it well, as has Andlauer, as has Larry Tenforder. They're getting good at this. Out of turn 17 they come to receive the green flag. Pereira getting a couple of wheels onto the dirt. And is that Rettenbacher with smoke coming from the car? Looks like it to me. So it looks like Rettenbacher might be in trouble. See them just getting wheels onto the dirt. They really do use all of the track and a little bit more. And we can see Jean-Baptiste Simonauer ducking to the inside, further back there as well. That was Igor Veliko in front of him. And quite a scramble for places there. And there's somebody else off onto the dirt. And is that Jean-Baptiste Simonauer? I think it is. Yes, it is Jean-Baptiste Simonauer. So he's just overcooked it in the other BWT Lechner car. And Dylan Pereira looking to the inside. Larry Tenforder getting involved. Is that Jaap van Lagen up with them as well? So the battle that was going on before we went into the safety car resumes. There's Jackson Evans. Really impressed here this afternoon. And really excited to see this young driver challenging the big boys here at the front of the pack. So Jaap van Lagen is there. That's Rettenbacher. We saw him smoking a little bit earlier. And clearly, whatever that was, it's terminal. So Rettenbacher is parked up. But that's the lead battle. And look at Jackson Evans on the back of Jaap van Lagen. Really, really competitive stuff. So the race continues, but it looks like it could change at any moment, to be quite honest. And Jackson Evans looking very, very good. The young New Zealand driver challenging the Dutch driver in front of him, the old, experienced Jaap van Lagen. He probably won't thank me for saying that, but experience. And there's Walter Lechner looking on, willing his cars not to take each other out. Our leader is still Mikael Ammermüller, as Henrik Skoog looks to the inside of Igor Veliko, and that's his teammate. But in so doing, lets through another car, but there's contact, and it's the 67 car, isn't it? Yes, the 67 car of Joey Mawson. That's a shame, because it's been really good to see Joey Mawson here in the Kartech Motorsport Porsche, and he's got a problem as a result of that contact. And who else is that that's gone out with him? I do hope this doesn't cause yet another safety car, because one thing's for sure, Joey Mawson is going no further. That car is well and truly stranded there. And somebody else off onto the runoff area. Gosh, there's cars going off all over the place, as that is Leon Kohler in the 77 car, and he's challenging Robert Wagner. And that's Reese Barr from Donegal in the 88 Fortec car, with Alex Arkin-Acker just behind. Then Leon Kohler, back from his weekend off, was looking very, very good in free practice yesterday with Leon Kohler, and found a bit of pace. And there's somebody smoking there. Is that Reese Barr? And smoking the brakes going in. Alex Arkin-Acker behind. And there's Leon Kohler. And Leon Kohler, who got disqualified from the race in Zandvoort for an incident which resulted in his teammate rolling his Porsche 911, looking to make amends on this, his first event back in the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany after that incident. So the lead still very much the same, but you wonder for how long. Julien Andlauer once again mounting his attack, looks to the outside of Michael Ammermüller. Ammermüller keeping on the racing line, round the hairpin. It's a popular place to overtake. And away they continue. Just 4 laps left. This race is absolutely melted by this afternoon. Dylan Pereira has just dropped back a little bit, as has Larry Tenforder. The timing screens say 0.3 of a second between first and second, but that was when they crossed the line. I think it's less than that now, to be quite honest. You can see Jackson Evans just keeping a watching eye behind Jaap van Lagen. And Tony Wolff as well, who's keeping them in hand. It's the 22 car of Niklas Skoll. And in front of him, Gustav Malja in the number 8 car. So lots of battles going on throughout the field here. Gustav Malja and Niklas Skoll. And of course, Niklas Skoll is the second place rookie driver. Our lead rookie driver, of course, being Jackson Evans, who's challenging the big boys here this afternoon. At the front, still not a lot between them, is there? It's a BWT and Lechner 1, 2, 3. Looking back from Dylan Pereira. You can see the light fading here now at Hockenheim. And the temperature dropping on the surface of this track. And that's Andlauer, who got back through. Didn't see him do that. So looks like Andlauer has got back past Dylan Pereira. That one snuck underneath the radar, didn't it? So Andlauer back into P2. I should have picked up on that. So the first two, Michael Ammermüller, Julien Andlauer. And Andlauer now putting the pressure on Ammermüller. And Larry Tenforder has just dropped back a little bit. You see how wide he's going out of the corner. He needs to be very careful. We've seen so many drivers picking up penalties because of exceeding track limits. And Larry Tenforder well out there as Jaap van Lagen closes in on Larry Tenforder for fourth racing. You see that slippery turn 16 and 17 out to complete another lap onto the pit straight. Great racing here. Still Michael Ammermüller, Julien Andlauer, who's found his route past Dylan Pereira, then Larry Tenforder, then Jaap van Lagen, Jackson Evans and Tony Wolff. And there you can see them on your screen. There's Larry Tenforder, Jaap van Lagen in the number 9 car. And that's looking back from the Larry Tenforder car. And you can see how close Jaap van Lagen is. So, having been challenging the leaders earlier, Larry Tenforder seems to have lost a bit of pace as Jaap van Lagen moves to the inside. And Larry Tenforder is now looking at the back of that car. So into the corner we come. You can see Larry Tenforder on the outside. Jaap van Lagen just comes through, makes it look rather easy, to be quite honest. And there's the lead battle still ongoing. It's the same positions as when they started the race, the 1, 2, 3 are, but it's changed a few times, hasn't it? There's been a fair bit of rubbing and bouncing up and down curbs. But it's still the same at the moment. Michael Ammermüller holding off Julien Andlauer, Dylan Pereira in P3. I wonder if they've had a word in their headphones from the boss saying, don't take each other out. And there's Jaap van Lagen, Larry Tenvoorde, then Jackson Evans. And the Lechner team. Yes, this is the time to say your prayers, Walter Lechner. And the two leading cars just breaking away a bit now from Dylan Pereira. And you can see Dylan Pereira relatively lonely now on his own. There's about 1.6 seconds between him and the first two cars. And again, Andlauer putting the pressure on into the hairpin. And in fact, just trying everything he can think of to find a route past his teammate. You can see they're almost glued together there as they go under the shadow of the grandstand. Two cars bouncing over the curbs. Sunlight in your eyes, quite low sun this time of year. Mikael Ammermüller, quickest of anybody on lap 13. You can see that on your screens there. But Julien Andlauer has wheeled him back in and clearly thinks that if he can get past, he could probably pull away from him. Dylan Pereira, you see him sliding the car into the corner in the background. We're on lap 15 of 16. You can see how wide Andlauer went out of turn 16 and 17 there. And into the final lap we go. Julien Andlauer putting the pressure on Mikael Ammermüller. But Ammermüller has led from flag to flag at the moment. He's had pressure all the way. At no point has he had space between him and P2. He's just got to hold it out now for the last 3/4 of a lap to win this race. And this will close the championship up even further, because it's Julien Andlauer in P2 who's at the top of the points, and it's Ammermüller in the lead who's in P2 in the points. So a last challenge from Julien Andlauer. Dylan Pereira ready to pick up anything if these two get together. And it's happened before, it could happen again. But Ammermüller just keeping everything together. He knows as long as he's on the racing line, there's very little that Julien Andlauer can do in this last section of the track. Round turn 10 they come. And it looks like Andlauer really has run out of ideas on how to get past Mikael Ammermüller. Look how wide they go out of that corner. Into the last few turns of this lap, turn 13, up towards 14 and 15. And then the final two turns of this lap, coming round onto the home straight. He can see the checkered flag up high. Mikael Ammermüller picks up the win. Julien Andlauer comes home in P2. And Dylan Pereira once again making it. A Lechner 1-2-3. Great racing from these three drivers. Jaap van Lagen in P4. And Larry Tenvoorde's battle. His race just seemed to fade as he went on, dropping back to P5. And Jackson Evans, ever the impressive, in P6. So Jackson Evans, by far our leading rookie. And Carlos Rivas in P20 is our leading amateur driver. So Carlos Rivas doing his point standings no harm whatsoever. Great racing. Really, really enjoy watching the Porsche Carrera Cup. Proper entertainment. These cars so evenly matched. And there's something about the Team Lechner, though, just been utterly dominant, particularly in the second half of this season. So the winner, Mikael Ammermüller, that's his 5th win of the season. So he's won 5 out of 13 races. That's a pretty good percentage, isn't it? Julien Andlauer, he's won 4 races this year. Couldn't make that 5th himself. There's your classification. Ammermüller, Andlauer, Pereira are the 1, 2, 3. Jaap van Lagen, Larry Tenforder, Jackson Evans, Tony Wolff, and Henrik Skog doing well for P8. Tim Zimmerman, Igor Veliko, Gustav Malja, and Nicolas Skoll bringing out the top 12. Lucas Oertel actually finished the race despite the safety car, was able to continue and at least get a bit of track time, if nothing else. Jorn Schmidt-Stade, such a shame, out on the first corner. But there's your winner. Mikael Ammermüller winning race 13 of this 16 race season and closing up that championship lead even further. He was 23.5 points behind Julien Andlauer coming into this. So, according to my maths, he will only be about 13.5 points. There we go. Told you my maths was good. 13.5 points behind Julien Andlauer. Larry Tenforder still in P3, but now that championship is looking more distant than ever. 47.5 points behind with just 75 points left to gain this season. That's your remaining points in the overall championship. And there's your winner. Coming through into the pit lane. Great racing. Probably a little bit close for comfort for some of the team. At various points. Little bit of rubbing going on. But we love it. We want to see good racing, and that's exactly what they provided today. So it really is all to play for in the championship, and we will be watching tomorrow with great interest. This is very tense between these two drivers. Surely the championship has got to be between these two now, without wishing to write off Larry Tenforder's chances at all. But he really would need to spring something of a miracle now to take the championship ahead of Andlauer and Ammermüller. These two drivers seemingly have got some pace that none of the others really have. Lots of congratulations. Lechner Racing, once again, utterly dominant in the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. It was hard to watch. That was from one of the team. It was hard to watch. Yes.
Sorry? Can he give you the heat? Yeah, fuck, was sideways.
Oh,
Yeah,
excuse the bad language there.
I think I was close to the edge, on the left.
You were close to the edge, yeah.
Yeah, no, it was great. Yeah. Ah, tough, huh? Yeah.
It's always a bit risky listening in, so apologies if you heard anything you didn't want to hear there. But as the team said, it was probably more tense for them than it was for the drivers. And always a bit nerve-wracking when you've got teammates battling it out for the first two positions. When it's the first three, it really is high stakes. Very, very much looking forward to the race tomorrow. I think it's going to be great. There's your third place, Dylan Pereira, with number 3 on the door for Lechner Racing. Second place, with number 2 on the door for Lechner Racing, Julien Andlauer. And first place with number 1 on the door for Lechner Racing, Mikael Ammermüller. Great slow-mo shots there of the Porsche 911 sliding around the corners. Yeah, I'm actually quite excited to see what happens in tomorrow's race. And if my calculations are right, there's going to be an infiltrator, because I do believe Jackson Evans will be starting from pole position. That will give the Lechner team something to think about, because they haven't been used to having to fight with other people for a while. And Jackson Evans really has found an impressive turn of speed around this Hockenheimring. So really looking forward to that tomorrow, and looking forward to seeing what happens with this championship. And that's your first three for Lechner Racing. Running a little bit behind today, owing to stoppages in earlier races, so I think quite keen to clear things up and get the cars out of the way. We got a TCR race to run, heaven forbid. So very, very shortly, we'll be bringing you the podium ceremony. And I think it'll have a slightly pink look about it. So a temporary pause in the noise. And as the sun sets on this gorgeous Hockenheim circuit, we reflect on what has been a fabulous day's racing for all the classes that have been on here. And the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany right up there in terms of entertainment. So there's your result. Michael Ammermüller taking first place from Julien Andlauer, Dylan Pereira, Jaap van Lagen, Larry Tenvoorde, Jackson Evans, Tony Wolff and Henrik School rounding up the top 8. Richard Wagner having a better weekend than of late, as has Reece Barr coming home in P14. Good to see him up there. Leon Kohler's return after sitting on the naughty step sees him in P13. Jean-Baptiste Simonau, the other Lechner Racing car, down in P19 after that little excursion onto the grass. So Michael Ammermüller getting ready to take the top step of the podium. Burkhard introducing him onto the stage. Great commentator. I aspire to be half the man he is. The BWT team looking very happy, and we're very quickly on to national anthems because we're a bit behind on time. So the pink podium ceremony. Great advertising. Trophy presentation to Michael Ammermüller. Nice trophy. Walter Lechner there. Very, very happy / relieved. P2 to Julien Andlauer. And Dylan Pereira, P3. And for Lechner Racing, utterly dominant at the moment. Totally riding the crest of a wave. And the celebrations commence. Empty the whole bottle down his back. What a waste of good champagne. I think the entire bottle went down his back. Yuck. Great. Celebrations there. Keep it in the family, why don't we? And very, very excited to see what happens tomorrow when we come back for more of the same. Quick pause for photographs in their champagne-sodden clothes. Bravo indeed. So there you have it. The 1, 2, 3 on the podium for the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany here at Hockenheim. Thoroughly enjoyable race. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. We're back again for more of the same tomorrow, and you don't want to miss it because I've seen the grid and it looks amazing. See you then. Bye-bye.